Fuck, I had a lot to catch up on, but the highlights are with Hell's Paradise. We just got a lot of fighting. The biggest developments are that um, the little girl that was with Gabibaru, she is one of the Tensen, the gods that are in
Mm.
Harai, and she was actually exiled. Well, not really exiled, but she was sentenced to death. Basically, she had a choice of two things. She could
Yeah.
either get killed straight away, or she could be used as like a training puppet for these other lesser beings to learn Bochu Jutsu. But they delve into that and essentially just say, look, it's a mixture of everything that we do with like our powers. So they have Tao where they can like make like spiritual balls and shit and throw them at people. But
Yeah.
then Bochu Jutsu involves I forgot the word they use, but it's essentially intercourse. So they're going to take advantage of this girl to actually achieve this style, and it's rough.
That's
Like the
wild. The
yeah,
fuck?
and then after that, like Gubby Maru snaps it, and he's like fucking. He goes after these two guys, um, and he ends up fucking them up. But at the same time, he learns a lot about like Tao and things like that, and he actually starts learning to be like the Tencent with their
Yeah.
powers, and he like adapts. And then you find out that with Gubby Maru, because of his like just long training, he just knows how to sort of adapt to every environment. It's like the Bear Grylls of the Ninja universe. So he has this massive fight with these two guys, and he finds out all that information. And then in the next episode, the current one that came out on Sunday, um, the other group that he left have actually rocked up to Harai now, and one of the gods was there to meet them. And they end up fighting this guy, and they all start learning about all that spiritual shit as well, and how to actually kill these gods.
Shit.
Yeah. And you find out that like with utilizing that power, it takes a big toll off you, not just like stamina wise, but it actually affects your body. So you will like nosebleeds, fucking everything. Like it's almost like you die a little bit when you use it.
Jeez.
Yeah. And then so they manage to like subdue this god, but then obviously he comes back, and that's where they ended the episode.
I was like it. I
Yeah,
was like the
yeah,
episode.
yeah. It was heavy themes, man. It was
Yeah,
wild.
sounds like it.
And sorry, one thing I didn't mention was that when I said about the Bojujutsu with the intercourse, that's why they can transition from male to female like that. Because they can achieve
Jesus.
Bojujutsu just by, like, banging each other. Yeah.
Sexual energy.
Yeah. It was so weird to me. But
Hmm.
it was good episodes. But then I ended it off, and I had 3 episodes of Mashle to like catch up on, and it was
Jeez.
just fucking excellent. So when we left them, when we left them off, like Mashle obviously just doing just Mashle shit,
Yeah.
but it delved into the other characters around him and them trying to get back to Mash,
Hmm.
and so you with Lance, he ends up fighting this guy, and you learn about these things called seconds, and it's almost
Hmm.
like the ultimate magic that you can develop from your style of magic. So this guy has a mud one, and then Lance just summons his gravity one, and it just fucks up this thing.
Jeez.
Yeah, and then it goes back to Mash, and like you think Mash has met his match because the person he's fighting is really fast, really strong, and he's fucking Mash up, and he stabs Mash through the stomach, and you see the sword go through and everything. And then he's like, why can't I pull out this sword? And he's tensed his abs so tight that he can't get the fucking sword out. And then he just headbutts this guy. And the guy like fucking comes back, mask comes off, and he's got like this. They call it the evil eye, but he's like, "Why is your eye bloodshot?" And fucking this guy has a seconth as well, and it's all about like time shift, and like it's meant to make Mash really slow.
Yeah.
Ends up just breaking through it anyway, beats the shit out of this person, and then gets to the final guy at the end of this labyrinth that they're in. This guy's just like, oh, look, you cannot defeat me. I'm going to turn you into a puppet. So he turns Mash into a puppet. And Mash just ends up uppercutting this guy anyway. And he's like, but I turned you into a puppet. What happened? And you know the whole, like, you knock the bottom of your knee and the reflex?
Yeah.
Mash just has natural reflexes to fuck people up whenever shit happens to him. And so he just keeps just turning back to human. And he summons his puppeteer, Sekonth, and it says, like, it turns everything into a puppet within 100 meters. Mash just breaks it within 5 seconds. And then just beats the shit out of this guy as well, wins all the gold coins. And then I found out this was the penultimate episode for the season. There's 12 all up.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So next episode is going to be the final one. And the ending of this episode had, like, that guy's, like, the final boss's boss showing up to go kill him.
Jeez.
So hopefully we see that in the last episode. But fuck, it was just funny, man. Like, Mash just... You see this guy, like, and now I take your gold coin when he turned into a puppet. And he just pulls out a whole cream puff. And he's like, why is this doing this in here? Why is there no container for this? Fuck, it was good.
Do you find that the show has, like, almost zero stakes because of how, like, overpowered he is?
Yeah, 100%. So with One Punch, because, like, fucking Saitama, who I refer to as, like, akin to Mash as well, because he's just so OP, you have to build around him.
Yeah.
And then you get your stakes from the characters around them, and you build out their personal stories, whereas Mash is just Mash. He's just there to just give you, like, comedic relief. They do it a lot with, they call them isekais, where people are stuck in video games. That's the genre of anime. And there's one called Overlord, where it's the exact same thing. This dude is just so OP. So you build up the characters around him, or you pit him against something where it's like a social norm that he needs to learn and shit like that.
Okay. Shit. Yeah. How mad. But is it also the comedy of the show that you're sort of like, this is what I tune in for? Like, I don't give a shit, really.
Yeah, like, I'm just waiting for. Yeah, like, it's the best because Mash just comes through and you're just like, at one point I was like, oh shit, maybe he is going to lose when he got turned into a puppet. Not at all. Time he came through with the quickness. But no, this was great. I'll have Oshinoko, and then I think there's a new anime starting next week. Might be Jujutsu or something. I don't know.